bit sensual.
Check it out.
What's good? I want to break this video into two main parts. First part is going to be what led me to decide to get the GTR. The second part is going to be what I did to afford it. First, I'm going to give you the Spark Notes version. The Spark Notes version is that I had the credit to be able to purchase a GTR. I financed it. That's the Spark Notes version, but now I want to get more into the details. So the first part, what led me to decide on the GTR? It started when I was about 16 years old. I really liked the GTR, like any 16-year-old. It just didn't seem obtainable. It didn't seem like something I was ever going to be able to actually afford for myself. What I did was I just started out really inexpensively with what I could afford. Honestly, I was working at McDonald's at the time. When I was 16 years old, I worked there for a year and a half through high school. I was making right around $7.50 an hour. I was driving a Honda Civic that I'd been given from my family. It was a 1998. It was gutless. It was just bone stock. I didn't put any money into it. So I had that vehicle, but then I wanted a performance vehicle. So I spent $700 on my first car, and it was a Camaro. And what I did was I just slowly worked my way up. I traded a few cars. I traded up a few times, and just as I was saving money, I could afford a little bit more expensive vehicles. When I was 18, I got my first import, I guess. So I had a 95 Eclipse that I don't want to talk about, and I got a Mazda Speed 3. I had a 2011 WRX, and this was in 2012. So before I turned 19, I had actually owned 8 different vehicles because I was always changing, always moving, and I guess I just couldn't sit still. It was in 2012 that I sold my 2011 WRX to go on a 2-year religious sabbatical. So I wasn't going to need a car for 2 years. I went and volunteered. When I got back, I started working for Nissan, which I'll come back to. I bought another 2012 Mazda Speed 3 and sold it about 2 months later. I did make a modest profit. I don't think that's why I sold it. I think I just felt like I didn't get as good of a deal on it as I could have. I think that's why I ended up selling that. I still question my next purchase, but ultimately I'm super grateful that I bought the next car that I did, because it's what led me to getting my GTR. So I bought a 2015 Nissan Leaf. That's right, 100% electric car. Super nerdy, but some good electric goodness. I missed my performance car, and I missed it so much that I just decided to go for it. I got pre-approved for the price range of payment that I wanted to afford, and then I set out to find my perfect GTR. I did a ton of research online. I got on GTR forum and did a lot of reading, looked through all of their classifieds. I actually had found one just outside of Seattle, Washington, and I was communicating with the owner. It was white, which was my perfect color. He had a couple of light modifications. I think it was about $64,000 for that one, and it had about 43,000 miles, which was an okay deal. I was going to move forward with it. I was going to fly out to Seattle and drive it back home, but we were lining up a pre-purchase inspection for the vehicle at a local Nissan dealership, just for peace of mind. I don't want to buy any used vehicles without a mechanic looking it over. Right before I spent the money to get the pre-purchase inspection, one showed up about 25 miles north of me, just north of Salt Lake City. I'm just south of Salt Lake City. It was in 2010. They were asking about $62,000. It just had over 30,000 miles, not even 31,000. So it was black on black, which wasn't my ideal color, but this was a really good deal, and it was local. I wasn't going to have to travel to get it. So I arranged to have a pre-purchase inspection done. I got it done, and it passed with flying colors. And it had brand new tires. brand new brakes. It was just in great condition. Actually, as I drove it from Specialties Automotive in Bountiful, Utah, huge thanks to them. I feel like I got a great deal. So after I was driving it there, I was digging through the glove box and I found some old service records, and they had the phone number of both of the previous owners. I would have been the third owner. I was able to call them. I talked to both of them. They were both older gentlemen, and both of them had said, no, I took great care of the vehicle. You should, you'll be fine to purchase that one. And so I felt really good about it. I went ahead and I purchased it, which was super, super exciting. So before I get on to the second part, here's a couple of quick clips of the vehicle as I talk about what I did to afford it. So I mentioned I was working for Nissan. What I didn't mention was that I was selling cars for them. I was a car salesman. So I would say I definitely did better than the average salesperson. But what really set my financial situation apart from others, even in similar situations, was my discipline. I wasn't fortunate enough to come across a large sum of money or anything like that, so it was all self-earned. I've been working since I was 14 years old doing odd jobs just because I'm very independent. I don't like relying on others to provide for me, and so from a very young age I would find any job I could do just to be able to provide for myself. I also didn't like it if I had to ask for something and then that person could then hold that over my head if they needed a favor or that they had helped me out. And again, I guess it's just the independent part of me that wanted to be able to take care of myself. So I had saved about $8,000. That was my down payment. And I was also taught really early about the importance of credit. And so I had good enough credit to qualify for the vehicle with that much down payment. So I put the $8,000 down. I got the car. My monthly car payment was $880 a month. I think what I'll do is make another video of what it costs to maintain the GTR. But that's it. That's how I decided on the GTR, and that's how I was able to afford it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Please help me out. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Leave me any comments for any questions that you might have, and subscribe. Thanks.